Night after night I return to the camp hoping to see Uncle Gecko sitting at the fire, but night after night I just sit there alone, waiting. After about a week passes, I see a dark figure in the distance, walking up to the camp. Uncle Gecko's battle-worn grimace comes into the light. He doesn't seem to see me at first, but when he does I don't react. I just stare at him, waiting for him. He walks up, stops directly in front of me and pulls out his gun. Snaps it open, spins it, slaps it, snaps it closed and puts it back in its holster. He slams his sword deep into the hard ground right next to the fire. I can see fresh blood on the handle, but the blade is clean, as if it was just wiped off. Where was the battle? It has been quiet all night. Uncle Gecko pulls out his flask from beneath his coat. Takes a big swig and starts. One day, a band of evil monks managed to open a portal to the lost world, where the forgotten cube was hidden. Upon finding the cube, the leader of the monks, Anu, slew his followers and claimed it as his own. Before long, dark power began to flow forth from the lost world. People were drawn into this darkness, and never heard from again. As a result, the king of Pelko ordered the mages to seal the entrance to the lost world. A great battle ensued, monsters poured into the land from the lost world and attacked the castle. The knights of Pelko defended the mages during the great battle against evil, and, though most of them perished in the struggle, the mages were able to cast their spell, stemming the flow of darkness and trapping the evil Anu in the lost world. This battle became known as the Lost and Forgotten War. Mesmerized by the words echoing off the trees, the crackle of the fire and the howling wolves off in the distance, Uncle Gecko jumps up and continues his story. Once the conflicts against Anu had ceased, Pelko entered a time of peace which lasted for many centuries, until one day, when unexplained earthquakes began to occur. Pestilence and drought ravaged the land. Thinking the recent disasters plaguing Pelko were somehow linked to the mage's seal, the king investigated it, but found it to be intact. Desperate for answers, he offered rewards for anyone who could find the source of Pelko's troubles. In response, a stranger named Rohan appeared as if from nowhere and stayed the earthquakes with mighty magic. As a reward, the king gave him a new position as chief advisor to the throne, and the common folk proclaimed him their hero. Once more, peace appeared to have returned to Pelko. Uncle Gecko's eyes narrow and a seething hatred started to creep into his eyes. As he continued to talk about the stranger Rohan, he seemed to become angrier and angrier. Yet all was not well. Rohan began to govern Pelko in place of the king and abuse his political power as he saw fit. Rumors spread saying that Rohan planned to kill the king and usurp the crown for himself, and that strange experiments were taking place in the castle tower at night. He cast spells on the soldiers and kidnapped the descendants of the mages, using their powers in an attempt to break the seal placed on the lost world. Shaking from anger, Uncle Gecko stops. Breathing heavily, he stares deep into the fire as if he could see Rohan looking at him from within the flame. Suddenly a bright, brilliant white light filled the campsite. Covering the ground and trees in blinding light, a faint figure can be seen coming towards us. Stops in front of Uncle Gecko and I hear a very quiet whisper. Straining to hear what is being said to him, I hear, "We need your help once again." The faint visage standing next to Uncle Gecko took his hand and they both walk into the forest. At that same moment the forest went black. Even the light from the fire seemed to disappear. I close my eyes, blink hard and open them. The campsite starts to come back into focus. I see the fire burning like it was before, but Uncle Gecko is gone. I call out, "Uncle Gecko, Uncle Gecko." I hear only silence, not even the forest is making any noise. An odd silence falls over the forest. I call out once more, "Uncle Gecko." Nothing, he's gone.